Hey there, today we'll be going through this question distinct split which appeared in Codeforces round 849 div 4. And the given question statement is, let's denote the fx function of a string x as the number of distinct characters that the string contains. For example, f of abc is equals to 3. That means the number of distinct character in this is 3. Number of distinct character in this string is just 1, and number of distinct character in this is 3. And given a string s, split it into two non-empty strings a and b such that f of a plus f of b is the maximum possible. And here the length of the string can go up till 2 into 10 to the power 5. And here you just have to return the function f of a plus b, which is nothing but the distinct characters division. Now let's understand the question statement better. So here we'll just take the example of this thing right here. What we can do is we just have to split it into two non-empty strings. And what do we mean by that? We can split it here. That is, the first string is a and the other is azz. Number of distinct character here is 1, and here it's 2. That is a and z. That is distinct. And what is the final value after summing those up? It is coming out to be 3. Either you can do a division there, or we could say that we can do a division right here. Then what will be our value that will be coming up? It will be nothing but number of distinct characters here plus here, which is nothing but 1 plus 1, which is 2. But it is lesser than 3, right? It is indeed lesser than 3, because they have said we need to generate the maximum possible split of a plus b. That is what we need right here. So we have to make a split in such a manner such that it is maximized. Now what can we do to actually complete this part? So I've already taken an example right here, that is abacaba here, this string. Now what we are going to do is we are just going to take a split at every possible index, that is right here, then here, and so on. Fine. And how do we do that? We just maintain a frequency array. And what is this frequency array saying? This is saying how many times have you gotten a character from the alphabetical order. That means in the English alphabet we just have A to Z, that means 26 characters. So we will declare an array of 26 characters. That is, there is array 1. Let's just say this is array 1 and this is the second array. Now why two arrays? We'll get into this. So we have done this. Now 0 denotes the frequency of A, 1 denotes the frequency of B, and so on till 25. Okay. So at first what we're going to do is we're just going to say that in our second frequency array, we will just fill the frequency of whatever the string is. That means A is occurring how many times? That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's occurring 4 times. So let's just write 4 at the 0th index. B is occurring twice. So we will write 2 here. C is occurring just once. So we'll just write 1. And all these will be filled with zeros subsequently. Fine. So this thing is already done. Now we come on to the main part, that is how do we actually split it. Now in order to split it, we just need to make sure we are incrementing and decrementing the values of the characters. Now you might get confused with what I just said. Let's understand this in better terms. So at first we'll say that okay, I'll come here and I'll try to make a split at this position. That is, one of my string is a and the other one is this thing right here. Fine. Now one thing I know, if this is my string, the first part is just containing a, what do we do? At my first frequency array, I'll say okay, I just have a here, so I'll make sure that frequency of a is 1 right now. And this thing, the second part, is already taken care of, right? Since we were already doing this, that means the whole frequency of this array was already stored in this second array, right? But mind you, there is one catch here, that right now we also have this a right here in this frequency array, which we do not want. So what do? You must have guessed it. We just simply say that okay, since in the second part or the second frequency or my second split I just have three a's, that is this one, 1, 2, and 3, what do we do? From here, we will just decrease by 1 and we'll make sure that it is decreased. Now, what do we have to do? All we have to do is we just want to make sure that how many distinct characters are there. So we will just make sure that we go through this whole array once and this whole array once, and we'll just count, okay, how many distinct characters do we have. And how do we count it? At any index, if the count of any particular index is greater than 0, that means we know there are some characters present in my string in my first half. And from here we will see that, okay, there are some characters here which is occurring how many times, I don't care, but it is occurring, right? So how many distinct characters we have right here? 3, and this one we have 1. So the total sums up to be 4 if we do a division right here. Now we come on to the next part. So we have gotten one answer, that is if we do a division there, we'll find that, okay, we get 4. Now coming on to this part, that is we do a division right here. Now if we do a division here, we see that a is still there, which is perfectly fine, the frequency of a. Now b is added, so what do? We make sure that the frequency of b is increased by 1. Now what do we see here? We had already gotten the whole strings frequency, that is this one, in this part. But since d has been removed now, right? D has been removed from this bracket. So what do? We just make sure that b's frequency is decreased by 1. That is, from 2 it will become 1. And if we see that it is correctly maintaining all the frequencies, right? So after that, what do? We just make sure we count the number of distinct characters again. Here we have 1 and 2. So here we have 2, and here we have again 3. So we'll get a summation of 5. So our new maximum comes out to be 5. And this is how we'll be going on through every possible index, and we'll try to make sure that we put it into another substring, and we just make sure we get the maximum possible result. So now we'll come on to this one, and we'll do the similar iteration, and we'll increase the frequency of a by 2, and here we will decrease the frequency of a by 1. So this will become 2, and after that again we'll do the same thing, we'll just count it, okay? So it is nothing but at every index, what do? We just make sure whatever new thing is coming, we just increase this one's frequency by the frequency of 1, and for the second array we just decrease it by 1, okay? So this is the whole intuition behind this problem. All you have to do is increase and decrease the frequency and just count the number of distinct elements, and the whole thing will be completely done. Okay. Now moving on to the code part, it will be very clear to you once we go through that. Coming on to the code part, so this is the simple input statement that we have taken in the length of the string and the string as well. After that, as we discussed, we have declared two frequency arrays, that is frequency 1 and frequency 2. And what did we do at first? We made sure that the second frequency array was filled, right? So this is what we have done here. The second frequency array has been filled. After that, what do? All we have to do is increase the frequency of every character. Where are we going? In the frequency 1, and decrease in the frequency 2 by 1. And I'll just explain this one more time if you still have any doubt, and it will be very clear. So let's just create this frequency array of this 3, 0, 1, 2, and the second frequency array again 0, 1, and 2. So at first, what are we doing? We are just making sure everything's frequency is being filled here, which is completely done now. Now we move on to the part that is we start iterating in our string. That is what we are doing right here. We start iterating. Now when we are at this index, what do? We just make sure that we do a plus plus in frequency 1, that is increase the frequency of a by 1. And in the frequency 2 array, what are we doing? In the frequency 2 array, we are just decreasing the frequency of a by 1. So here it becomes 0. This becomes 0. Now after that, this thing is done. So this means what? That I'm doing a partition here, this part. So my first string is a and my second string is bc right here. Now what do? After that? After that, we're just making sure we are counting the number of distinct characters in both my partition string, the first one and the second one. The first one is having only 1, the second one is having only 2. So what do we get? We get 2 plus 1, that is 3. So this is what we are doing here. After counting it, we are just maintaining a maximum, overall maximum, and we are at the end of the day we are just returning the maximum, and this will get you an easy. Okay, and I hope you have understood the whole solution, and if you did, please do like, and if you do want the code, it will be linked in the description. You can check it out from there as well. And yeah, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe. Thank